Do we have any veterans in here? Any veterans? Yeah. Friday is the 11th month, the 11th day, and on the 11th hour is when we honor our veterans. For those who have gone before us and have made the supreme sacrifice, for those who are still sacrificing because of the time that they've given and what they've done. You see a vet this week, be sure to encourage them and thank them for their service. Before I get into the message, I couldn't help but break this one out. It's Ephesians 4:29. And with Election Day being on Tuesday, well, here, watch this. We need to stay positive in a negative world. So tonight I want to talk about political corruption, broken homes, broken families. I want to talk about the judicial system, our sluggish economy. I want to talk about lousy jobs, lazy people, uncaring people, drug drivers, crime, a high crime rate, and people who just don't care. No, I was kidding. I want to stay positive. But man, it's so easy to get in and all that other stuff. Amen. Watching the debates, I just wondered if either of the folks that were doing the debating even knew what Ephesians 4:29 was. So, last week I talked a little bit about speaking the way it should be. And I said in Genesis 1, there was darkness. And God saw the darkness and He said, let there be light. He didn't say, whoa, it's dark. He spoke as it should be. And that's the way that we should. There was a young boy and his name was David. And his brothers picked on him and made fun of him. He happened to be a young shepherd boy. And his oldest brother made fun of him whenever he showed up to see the defeat or the fight with the Philistine giant named Goliath. And his oldest brother said, what are you doing here? Are you into the kiddie drama? You're here to just see what's going on because you can't do anything about it. Now you have to understand that the Philistine giant Goliath was there to defeat Israel, God's people. And David continues to get negative speech from his oldest brother, who was supposed to be a good role model for him and an encourager for him. Yet what he did was run him into the ground and make fun of him. And so as he's listening to his oldest brother then begins to make assumptions and said, well, you probably left the sheep by themselves in the wilderness. Now I'm going somewhere with this because I'm sure sometime, at some place in your life, somebody began to say something to you, to get a rise out of you, to get some sort of a negative reaction out of you. So they give you with some negative thoughts that they have, and then they expound on that and start to tie it in with, well, you probably have done negative things in the past. You're probably doing negative things with your future. I did not see in the Bible where Eliab was eating crow after David defeated the giant. But David knew he had to take a stand to do that. And if you turn into the New Testament in Romans 8, he said, I'm more than a conqueror through Christ. He knew that God God would be with him, so he wasn't worried about any of the negative things that were said about him. Little did his brother know that he would defeat Goliath and would end up living in a palace. But it doesn't say anything about that he ate crow. There are also two young fellows that were in Numbers 13. Caleb and Joshua. And God allowed them to be among the 12 spies that went in to check out Canaan, the promised land. Now, God didn't need somebody to go in there and tell him what the promised land was like. He already knew it. He already gave it to them. But he allowed 12 people, 12 spies, 12 leaders to go in, 12 respected people to be able to go into the promised land. And he said, let me know what you see. And, by the way, bring back some of the fruits that are there. Some of the good things of the land. Bring back some memories so that we can share those all together. Let me read to you what they said. In Numbers 13. Whenever we get into this, we start to talk about, we talk to the mountain, about how big the mountain is. We don't talk about God and how big God is and how he has already overtaken the mountain. I'll start at 17. Then they told them, go and check the land of Canaan and come back with a report of what you see, of what the fruits are, who dwells there. Give us descriptions so that we may be aware of that land that I have already promised you. So they went in, and when they came back, they told Moses, yeah, man, we saw it. We went to the land where you sent us. It truly is the land of milk and honey. We saw it with our own eyes. However, have you ever almost got a compliment on something? Have you ever almost believed in something? I mean, you start getting better, and then you start to question it and go like, I'm feeling better today, but I've never been healed before, so it can't be that. And I'm used to being sick. I'm used to fighting with my spouse, so they can't be saying good things to me now. I'm not in debt right now, so maybe I better go out and buy some stuff because I got some extra money and I am feeling kind of gloomy, and this will help me feel a little better. And it doesn't matter. Maybe I can miss a house payment or a mortgage payment, or maybe I can miss the rent because since I have a little extra money, I won't spend it all. I'll just hold it back. Yeah, it truly is the land of milk and honey. However, the people who dwell in the land are strong. I have a broken heart tonight. I have a wonderful friend who died. Yesterday they unplugged him. 36 years he was my friend. Played the last band together. He's my bass player. Met him when he came out of Korea. I remember when he got saved. I was sitting in the pew. The pastor gave the altar call, and he said, well, that would be me. We had to move, Laurie and I had to move out of the way so he could step out and come up to the altar. He knew it was his appointed time. I'm not confusing stories. This is all going somewhere. He started to play bass in church. I played drums. He played bass. We just praised God together. I watched him grow. I watched him get strong. And then I watched the enemy lie to him and steal from him. See, he would go to church. And he felt he wasn't deserving of church because he wasn't nearly as good, nearly as holy, nearly as sacred as the people who sat next to him in church. Have you ever felt that way? I have. I've sat next to some pretty holy folks in church. And they let me know it too. I was dirt under their fingernails. And the enemy doesn't need a whole lot to discourage you and make you feel like dirt under someone's fingernails. All you have to do is stop for a second, stop going forward, and the enemy will take you back really fast. I watched Jeff grow so much. And I watched him get a life of abundance. Because when he came back from Florida, he looked me up. And he said, I want to kill myself. He found his wife with another man, and he figured that was the end. I shared out of Matthew with him how we're not supposed to worry. That God has it all figured out. And it gave him strength, and it gave him hope. But he didn't feel threatened by me. So I certainly wasn't a holy Joe. See, God wants real people to give the real word to people who are hurting, people who have doubt. He doesn't need somebody to come out of a crystal cathedral and flaunt their goodness in front of someone. What that caused my friend to do was sacrifice his life of abundance for a life of hell. I love Jeff. And I know he made the grade because I was right there when he decided he was coming up and he was asking Jesus into his heart. And I know when he was on that respirator, I know he was crying out to Jesus. But see, in those years, when he felt like he was just filth under somebody's fingernails, he lost that life of abundance. John 10:10 makes it so clear. The enemy comes but to steal, kill, and destroy. And Jesus said, I have come that you might have life and have it to its fullest, more abundantly. See, the joy of the Lord is our strength. And when we have hope, we have joy. And when we have the joy, we have the strength to be able to defeat the enemy. And the enemy does not want that. Nor did the enemy want the 12 spies to see and proclaim the goodness of God in Canaan. The people in that land are strong, and the cities are fortified, and they're huge, they're large. But the men who had gone up with them were not able to go up against these people, for they are stronger, they're better than us, they're holier than us, oh, they're stronger than us. So they ended up, these are the leaders, these are the leaders. And they said to the people of Israel, it's bad news, man. Scratch that idea. God ain't giving us no promised land. It's inhabited by monsters. The land through which we had gone will devour us. It will devour its inhabitants. And all of the people whom we saw in it are of great stature. They're giants. They are the descendants of Anak. And we're mere grasshoppers in their own sight. And so are we in our sight. It doesn't say anything there who you are in God's sight, or who they are in God's sight. You're the apple of his eye. You're the victor. You're the head, not the tail. You're the beginning, you're not the end. You're first, you're not the last. But the enemy doesn't want you to be assured of that. He wants you to walk the floor, pace the floor, and bring your hands and hold your head down and feel hopeless. Going back up to verse 30. Caleb and Joshua quieted the people before Moses and said, we can do it. Let's go up at once and take possession of the land, for we are well able to overcome it. God is with us. 2 people. 40 years later, 2 people. 2 people out of 12 went into the promised land. Guess who they were? Joshua and Caleb. They stayed positive. They didn't have a pity party. They didn't complain. They saw things as they were. Wait a minute. They saw things as they were promised. God made a promise. Nobody else was willing to take a chance, willing to have the faith, willing to have the hope to buy into what God's promise was. Joshua and Caleb did. They made it. They made it. They made it. I don't know about you, but if you're sitting there with your head in your hands, you're going like, man, I blew it today. I blew it yesterday. I'm telling you, his mercies are new every single morning. Don't lay there. Don't give up. Don't quit. If somebody has discouraged you, don't take their word for it. You have a covenant with Almighty God. And you can take that all the way to the spiritual bank. Yeah, but everybody knows how worthless I am. Everybody sees how I mess up all the time. Everybody hears my mouth at work. Everybody sees how I act and behave. Yeah, that's the nice part of it. Everybody sees a dead-end road. But man, whenever you know how to make the U-turn and come back out, people are going to follow you. People will want what you've got because you found the answer. Sometimes I get so discouraged by the holy game shall we say then? This is coming out of Romans 8. If God is for us, who can be against us? He who did not spare his own Son, but delivered him up for us all, how shall he not with him freely give us all things? You got to think about that. He gave his Son up for you, so he could just let you go, so he could just let you hit a dead end, so he could let you run off the street into a ditch, so you could make a fool of yourself. Who cares? God delivers you. Well, I haven't been to church because I can't stand the hypocrites. Yeah, I've been there. I've said that. I've said that. Does it really matter? It should be a personal thing. A personal thing between you and Christ. And if you're not crying out to Christ, well, I tried it and it didn't work. I tried it for 3 weeks and it didn't work. I guess I could try one more day. You know something that weighs very heavily on my heart? Years ago, when my son moved out and went into the Army, we had a spare bedroom. There was a young man from Teen Challenge. He needed a place to stay. He didn't want to go home to Camden. He knew if he went home to Camden, that he'd be back on the streets again with his brothers and all of his friends. And his mama worked hard to try to keep those guys fed. So she wasn't around to be able to make sure that they towed the line. And Reg, he was tied up in all kinds of addictions, and he had gone a year through Teen Challenge up on a mountain. We said, Reg, come live with us. Come on in. Come be a part of our family. And I learned a lot from Reggie. I learned a lot about forgiveness. But I didn't learn enough. Within a year's time, Reggie got back in. We'd help him get a job at Caterpillar, help him get a car, help him get on his feet and do everything he needed to be able to be back into the program of life. He was supposed to get married. 2 weeks before the wedding, his girlfriend called it off because she knew he was back into drugs. Abundant life. The enemy snickering and smiling. The enemy won that round. He said, Reg, we have to have a talk. You knew what the rules were when you came to our house, and there's not going to be any of this stuff. We want you to know we're going to move your stuff. We'll get you set up in an apartment. We're moving you out this weekend. And we did. I don't know what the magic number is. I don't know if you forgive 100 times and quit, or if it's 101, or is it 102? What if it was really 103? Some of us are sitting here tonight with a heavy heart and stress in our lives because we're filled with some non-forgiveness. It doesn't make you filthy and scroungy, but it does steal your abundance. And what a light heart you can have. What a blessed life you can have if you just let it go. I checked everywhere I could. Facebook, talking to people, and Teen Challenge, to try to find out what happened to Reggie. Let him know that we loved him and we admit we were wrong. Because we were. Because we could have forgiven him one more time, and if he would have turned around and done it again, we would forgive him and guide him. I believe he needed more guidance. I don't know what he needed, but I know he needed somebody to show Christ's love to him. And we cut him off when he needed it. Things disgust you? Things upset you? Are you getting your hands dirty and greasy and you don't like it? Usually when you work, you get your hands into it. God wants you to have dirty hands. God says you can have anything you ask for. All you got to do is say it. He promises you that. But we always keep saying what we already have. I said that last week. You can have whatever you want, but you keep saying what you have. Who shall bring a charge against God's elect? It is God who justifies. Who is he who condemns? Your accuser. You will be vindicated. Your accuser. God promises you don't have to get even. You don't have to give somebody a piece of your mind. You don't have to speak words that are not edifying. Saw the little movie? Nothing should come out of our mouth that does not edify somebody. That doesn't build somebody up. That doesn't give somebody hope. That does not strengthen somebody. That doesn't help somebody stabilize where they are in their life. If we're so holy, then we should be speaking things that edify other people, that lift them up. We shouldn't be advertising how good we are. I want you to put that in your pew for a minute. It is Christ who died and furthermore is also risen, who is even at the right hand of God, who also makes intercession right now for us. Who shall separate us from the love of Christ? Shall tribulation or distress or persecution or famine or nakedness or peril or our own holiness? For your sake, we are killed all day long. We are accounted as sheep to the slaughter, yet in all things, we are more than conquerors. God makes a promise for us in 29:11, Jeremiah 29:11. He promises that there will be no harm. He promises you that you will not be in lack, that you will be prosperous. But he doesn't just give it to you because he's Big Daddy. He says he wants you to love him with all your heart, all your soul, all your mind, and all your strength. And if you ain't giving 100%, okay, if you're only giving 50%, okay, so you're giving a little bit, then you'll probably just give a little bit of abundance. And if you just get a little bit of abundance, the calm of that would be a whole lot of misery with just a sprinkle of abundance. And I would suggest we get enough abundance in our life so we can go brag about it. We can go bust somebody's chops about how good we are and how they failed us and how they have to eat crow now. Just like David's big brother. I know you don't think this will ever end. God says He wants us to stop complaining. He wants us to be joyful on all occasions. He wants us to rejoice always. So why do we often speak so negatively? Just sew it up here. Because it's a trap. It's a trap. You can't see where you're going. Because your head's looking down on the ground. You can't see where you're going. You're not following the pillar of fire. You're not following the cloud. Because if Christ were abundant in your life, as He wants to be, we'd be following Him everywhere. Everywhere. And when things are down, when we don't feel well, when we're broke, when there's nothing in our wallet, there's nothing in our hope chest, God, I know your promises. And every single one of them is yes and amen. It is our human nature to spout off and tell everybody about our problems. Don't get me wrong. There's a time for that. There is a time to talk about what's going on in your life. It's just plain easy to fall into that whining trap. I really thought about calling this the whining trap, but I thought it would be just too negative. It is nature. It is nature that we can find all sort of reasons to want somebody to feel sorry for us. It is nature to recruit people against someone else. They did me wrong. I see it in 5th grade all the time. All the time. We're not going to talk to so-and-so because they were mean to me. What did they do? They wouldn't sit with me at the table lunch. So now instead of dealing with like one little problem, you have 13 kids you're dealing with. Sometimes we just want somebody to see our struggles, and we want them to respect us and say, wow, look what they've gone through. They must be mighty people of God. All the trouble that they've had, and they're still persevering. Wow, if I could just touch the hem of their whatever. What we need to do is stop being so spiritual minded. Because we can be so spiritually minded that we're no heavenly good, no earthly good, no good at all. All we are is a placeholder. Sometimes we're just so accustomed to complaining we don't even realize that we're doing it. It's just one of those automatic things. Do you know what they call that? When it becomes automatic? Oh, come on. Say it again. It's an addiction. Habitual. It's addiction. We get addicted to complaining. We get addicted to whining. We get addicted to feeling sad. We get addicted to telling others how tough it is. And man, do we ever get addicted to discouraging other people. I know we don't. But this message is so we can go and share with others the right way. If you take a look in your bulletin, the victory verse. I had it in last week, and this is a rerun because I thought it was really worth it. Proverbs 18:21, death and life are in the power of the tongue, and those who love it will eat its fruit. So you can either eat the bad fruit, like Eve did. Then she started complaining, well, it was a snake. The snake made me do it. Or it could be like Adam, well, it was that woman you gave me, God. You wouldn't have given me her. Started early on. Speak life. This week, go out and speak life. This week, go out and live life. If you have a problem, if you have an ailment, take it to where it needs to go. Take it to God. We're here to help you with that. But we're not here to vote on it. Oh, no. I'm sorry. There's that vote word again. The complaining, the blaming, and the finding fault should end this week. But what does that say about America when they are America's best? Listen a minute. I approve this message. What does that say about us when they represent us, the United States of America, and we're holding them up? If there's ever been a reason to hit our knees and get on our face and ask God to heal our land, now is the time. On the back of your Bible, it tells you exactly what we need to do. I'm sorry, the back of your bulletin. We need to humble ourselves and pray and seek His face and turn from our wicked ways. He will hear us from heaven, and He will forgive us and heal our land. Close your eyes, bow your head. Heavenly Father, I thank you for your message, Lord. Father God, it cuts like a knife. Lord, maybe not everybody here, but I know I'm certainly guilty of that. Lord, I want to make a difference. I want to make a difference for you. And Father God, in just a few seconds, we're going to raise our hand for those who want to make a difference for you and realize some of these obstacles that we need to let go. And Lord, as those hands are raised to you, Father God, let them know that you love them. You're forgiven no matter what has been done or will be done. And you're going to continue to guide them and call them back to you. If this message has touched you and you realize that you need to make a change in how you think, how you talk, and how you respond to others, just raise your hand. God bless you. God bless you. Father God, I just ask now, Lord, that as we leave this place, let us leave here strong and bold so that we can speak of your excellent nature, that we can let others know it isn't us that's righteous and holy. We are your righteousness. It's because of what you have done for the gift of Jesus and His dying on the cross that we can even think that we have a chance of heaven. In Jesus' name I pray. Amen. Please stand. May Almighty God love you. May He bless you. May He draw you unto Himself and strengthen you. May He put joy in your heart and give you strength to be able to come against those who have a negative tongue. May you be positive. May you be upright, forthright, and in love with Jesus. And everyone says, Amen. Class dismissed.